Hello everyone, welcome back. I just want to ask you a question today, really. I'm going to describe a project to you that I've been working on for the last 5 years, a story, a book. And my question to you today is, are you interested? Because I'm thinking about publishing this thing myself, and before I do so, I just want to kind of gauge whether there's any appetite for it. Because when you self-publish a book, it does require a certain amount of time and effort and dedication. And so I just want to kind of test the water and see if there's a kind of demand or a desire for this kind of story, basically. So I'm going to give you the backstory behind it, and then I'm going to kind of describe what the story's about so you can get a taste for it, okay? So sometime back in 2015, maybe even 2014, I was listening to a podcast, and it was like a science podcast, and it was about swarm intelligence. Swarm intelligence is a kind of method of intelligence that some insects use. A good example is bees, okay? When you get a beehive or lots of bees working together, no single bee is very intelligent. In fact, if you take a single bee, it's quite thick. It's not very clever at all. But when a big group of bees is faced with the task of finding the best place to build a nest out of a big complicated environment, most of the time that colony of bees will choose the best place to build the nest, and they do so even though each single bee is not very intelligent. So they work collectively to find the best place to build a nest. And I was listening to this podcast, and it was fascinating. And me being me, I decided to turn it into a story. I've written a novella based on this concept, and I've been working away at this story for the last 5 years. I started writing it in 2015, and I've been working on this story on and off for the last 5 years. And I finished it a few months ago, and I've actually submitted it to a few literary agents and traditional publishers, and I've had the usual knockbacks. Some of them have replied and said no thanks, blah blah blah, and others have just not replied at all. I might still get a reply from them, I might not. I probably won't. And you might know my opinion about traditional publishers already. I've made a previous video on that. Most of them are more into politics than they are literature anyway. So I'm not bothered about the publishers. I'll publish the thing myself. But I just want to gauge your interests and see if there's a demand first. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the story, and then I'll read you the blurb, and then I'm going to ask you to leave some feedback. But here's what the story is generally about. The story is set in a rundown town called Drapton, and crime is completely out of control. There's crime on the streets, there's violence, blah blah blah. A private security firm is hired to assist the government or the council in tackling crime. And this private firm come up with the idea of building a revolutionary new prison. They build a massive new prison that's like a big pyramid-shaped building. And inside this prison, the setup is rather like a hospital. All of the prisoners and inmates are bedbound. They're strapped down onto beds, and their brains are wired up to a central computer, and this central computer taps in to each inmate's subconscious mind. Okay, it's pretty bizarre, and so the central computer is at the top of the building, and the team of technicians can type questions into this computer. The questions are sent down the wires and circuitry into the inmates' brains, and all of the inmates' brains work on the questions collectively, like a swarm of bees, and then each brain sends the answer up to the central computer, and then you have an answer to the question. So the kind of the technicians or the council workers can ask this central computer any kind of question and get an accurate answer. And so over time the town of Dracton becomes richer, and it cleans itself up, because people like stockbrokers and businessmen pay money for predictions, so that they ask questions about the stock market, for example, or businessmen present their product to the hive mind, and they ask a question: is this product going to become successful or not? And the hive mind, i.e. the prisoners' subconscious minds, get asked a question and they give an accurate answer. However, after a certain amount of time, the building itself becomes conscious, and it starts to influence the staff in a bad way. And the story is all about a kind of primordial brain, or the primordial part of our brain, the ancient part of the human brain, gets tapped into, and it kind of reveals itself in this building, in this prison. Okay, that is the basic premise of the story. I'm going to quickly read you the blurb now as well. I need to shorten this blurb really, but this is what it is at the moment. The town of Dracton is crumbling, with crime and violence perpetuating around the clock. The prisons are at bursting point, and morale is at an all-time low. The authorities' answer is Swarm, a revolutionary new prison. Swarm is a correctional facility like no other, harnessing the power of the inmates' subconscious minds for the benefit of the town. The facility is a work of genius, and the town soon begins to prosper. But the newfound hope doesn't last long. When cutting-edge technology merges with humankind's ancient biological roots, what kind of monster will emerge? That's the blurb. As I say, I've submitted it to publishers, but to be honest, stuff the publishers, I don't even like them. They're too hung up on politics for my liking, so I'm probably going to self-publish this thing. But first, I want to ask you a question. A, are you interested? So, option 1 is yes, I'm interested. B, maybe, I'm not sure. Or C, fuck off, I don't give a shit. I want you to leave your answer in the comments section below. A, B or C. I just want to see what you think, and I just want to see if you're interested in reading a story like this. Okay, and that's it. That's what this video is about. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Try to have a great day on this weird, peculiar, pugnacious, unforgiving rock we call Earth, and keep an eye out for my next video. My next video, by the way, will either be about the Unabomber, another Unabomber article, or it will be about Charles Bukowski. I'm going to do a video on Charles Bukowski as well. Okay, but for the time being, please give me your feedback on this story. I want to know what you think, alright? Thanks for watching. See you next time.